What does an 800-pound person eat every day? The first thing upon waking up in the morning is to have 2 cookies to whet the appetite. Then, his daughter brings him a bowl of mashed potatoes. As an appetizer, then comes the main course. 6 eggs and 5 steaks, covered with cheese and meat sauce. He can eat 3 plates of this portion. Finally, a piece of cake as a dessert. By noon, 2 large pork chops, with half a plate of mashed potatoes and corn. After finishing 1 plate, his wife will naturally hand him another. In this way, he eats 5 servings in one go. Finally, he finishes with a piece of cake. Next is a snack, 2 fish fillets with some carrots, which seems relatively healthy. But the man complains, saying eating this is like eating nothing. So, to compensate his wrong stomach, for dinner he asks for Chinese food. But what if his wife can't cook it? Order takeout. Lao Gan Ma fried rice with crispy golden spring rolls. He was so satisfied until he got to the 5th plate. He finally couldn't eat anymore. He asked his wife to clear the plates. Then, as usual, a piece of cake to finish. Is that the end? No! He hasn't had his midnight snack yet. At midnight, his wife would still drive to get him a burger. And he asked for an extra large with extra cheese. When she got home, the man was already impatient. His wife quickly served the food in front of him. A large portion of fries and a double burger. Just as his wife sat down to have a bite herself, the man had already finished everything.
Can I have my other burger?
Yes.
The wife could only give her portion to her husband. After he finished it in 2 bites, he could finally turn off the lights and sleep. This is the man's daily life. It's terrifying, right? But this is not a movie. It's a real person. The man is named James. He lives in Kentucky, USA. Due to being extremely overweight, his range of activity is limited to this bed. James's obesity began in middle school. His mother often drank heavily when he was young, which led to her dying of liver cancer. Later, his father remarried. The stepmother brought 4 children with her. This turned his already not wealthy family into a poor household. His father's salary alone couldn't support 8 people. So from that time on, James was always afraid there wouldn't be enough food at home. He would eat as much as he could whenever he saw food. Over time, he developed a habit of binge eating. He felt that only food could bring him happiness and a sense of security. At 15, he had already reached 230 pounds. At 18, he reached 400 pounds. At 20, he met his current wife, Lisa. Lisa is 22 years older than James. She had been married and had 4 children. The eldest is even older than James. Due to domestic violence from her ex-husband, Lisa divorced him. After marrying James, she had 2 more children. Because she is much older than James, she spoils James and grants his every request. Under her indulgence and meticulous care, James became increasingly overweight. At 30, he reached 540 pounds. His ankles, unable to bear such weight, were severely injured. James can only lie in bed to rest. And once he lay down, he couldn't get up again. All his eating, drinking, and other needs were taken care of by his wife and daughter. Until now, his weight has reached nearly 800 pounds. He also developed cellulitis. His skin is ulcerated and oozing pus. The most serious issue is his organs have started to fail. The doctor told him if he doesn't change his situation, his life might not last until the end of the year. At this moment, James finally realized the seriousness of the situation. His wife and daughter also felt scared. In the entire United States, the only one who can save him is the weight loss expert Dr. Now. But Dr. Now is in Houston. How to transport James there has become the biggest challenge. This 800-pound man hasn't gotten out of bed for 10 years. His whole body is ulcerated and oozing pus. He needs someone to help clean and change his dressings every day. But this is a big task. His wife and daughter can't do it alone. They always call the neighbors to help. This makes James feel very embarrassed. What's more devastating is the doctor has given him an ultimatum. If he doesn't lose weight, he won't live past the end of the year. So James decided to lose weight. But the weight loss expert, Dr. Now, is in Houston, 1,300 kilometers from his home. If he calls an ambulance for the journey, it would cost at least $15,000 for James and his family. It's an astronomical figure. You have to know their current life can only be maintained by government assistance. They have no choice but to communicate with Dr. Now via video first. Dr. Now said the only thing that can save James now, it's a gastric bypass surgery. But to have this surgery, you need to reduce your weight to below 600 pounds. So he suggested James lose weight at home first. Once he meets the surgery requirements, then go to Houston for the surgery. Afterwards, he gave James a diet plan. He required him to consume no more than 1,200 calories a day. He also warned James's wife, Lisa, not to indulge him anymore. Knowing the doctor was willing to help him, James was very happy. He could also take advantage of this time to lose weight. To think about how to get to the hospital, then James's daughter thought of starting a crowdfunding online. She also expressed her predicament to the TV station, asking them to help promote her cause. But after more than a month, they only raised $300. The frustrated James could only turn his sadness into appetite, relieve inner anxiety with food, just when the family didn't know what to do. James's father sent $10,000. It turned out he mortgaged his house to help his son get treatment. At this moment, James felt mixed emotions. In his prime, yet needing his father's support. At the same time, this made James determined to successfully lose weight. Now there's money and a car. How to get James into the car? This requires professional firefighters. They first removed the door, then laid a plastic sheet under the bedsheet. Then 10 people worked together bit by bit to move him onto the stretcher. Then they exerted great effort to push him out the door and lifted him into the ambulance. After a 16-hour journey, James finally arrived at the hospital. Dr. Now immediately examined him. As a result, his lungs almost exploded with anger. James's weight reached 735 pounds. This indicates that in the past 3 months, he hasn't lost any weight at all. Facing the doctor's questioning, James was still very arrogant. He said he gets irritable when he's hungry. To calm himself, he has to binge eat. His wife, on the other hand, looked aggrieved. She said that if she doesn't give James food, he makes a fuss with her. He almost curses her ancestors. So she has no choice but to compromise. After hearing the couple's explanations, Dr. Now was furious. He really wanted to wave them off, but in the spirit of saving lives, he suppressed his inner anger. He still accepted James. To help him quickly reach the surgery standard, Dr. Now strictly controlled his diet. His daily intake was limited to no more than 800 calories, and the effect was immediate. In 1 month, James lost 85 pounds. If he loses another 50 pounds, he can have the surgery. But the remaining 50 pounds, he must lose on his own at home. This will prove he has the ability to lose weight. Otherwise, the surgery is meaningless. Unexpectedly, 4 months passed. James still hadn't come for a follow-up. Dr. Now was worried. So for the first time, he made a house call. He proactively went to James' house. After seeing James, Dr. Now immediately saw he hadn't lost weight. But James stubbornly denied it. He claimed he strictly followed the diet plan. His wife kept covering for him. Seeing how stubborn they were, Dr. Now directly took him to the hospital. Get on the scale. The scale doesn't lie. This 800-pound man, it takes 10 people to lift him off the bed. On the scale, 844 pounds. Exactly 194 pounds heavier than when he was last discharged. James was incredibly shocked when he heard. He even questioned the nurse if the scale was broken. When they saw Dr. Now again, the couple was a bit embarrassed, but they still made excuses for themselves. At one point, they said the car at home was broken, couldn't go buy groceries, could only order takeout and eat fast food. Then they said the doctor didn't give him a diet plan. They didn't know what to eat. Dr. Now had never seen such shameless people. Didn't want to waste words with them. Directly told them to pack up and leave. The wife was finally scared when she saw Dr. Now was angry. Immediately pleaded softly. Asked Dr. Now to give them one last chance. Dr. Now was still angry, but saving lives was more important. So, agreed to help them one last time. And so James stayed in the hospital for another month. Successfully lost 86 pounds. Next, he still needs to lose weight on his own at home. Dr. Now told him, this really is his last chance. If he fails again, not even a god can save him. After returning home, James vowed he would succeed this time to get his weight below 600 pounds and then prove Dr. Now wrong. 3 months later, James returned. The scale showed 788 pounds. That's right, he failed again. Not only did he not lose weight, he gained 30 pounds. This time, Dr. Now was completely disappointed. He scolded the couple harshly. If you don't want to lose weight, then don't call the hospital. You waste opportunities time and again, consuming medical resources repeatedly. No one will use their limited energy to play games with you. Dr. Now also said the reason James always fails, it also can't be separated from Lisa's indulgence. Maybe the two should separate for a while. It might help James lose weight. But unexpectedly, his words were misunderstood by the couple as him wanting to ruin their marriage. So they had a big argument with Dr. Now. This argument completely disheartened Dr. Now. It also completely pushed James towards death. This was the first time Dr. Now voluntarily gave up on a patient. And just 4 months later, Dr. Now received the news that James was hospitalized due to sepsis, liver cirrhosis, and kidney failure. Shortly after, he passed away. He was only 46 years old.